Welcome to the Astro Guy podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Zuhl. The December evenings have been delightful, with lots of clear skies. However, if you live in the New Jersey area, as I do, there's been talk about large drones flying around military bases, people's houses, and, well, pretty much everywhere. These sightings are only happening at night. The descriptions of the drones vary, from groups of 4 to 6 prop drones to ones that look strangely like jet planes. Many witnesses state that the drones are large, some as large as an SUV. Wait a second. Orson Welles' War of the Worlds took place here in New Jersey. This is getting weird. Let me get this part out of the way. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to help support the Astro Guy podcast and YouTube channel, you can buy us a cup of coffee. The money is used to maintain and update the equipment that we use to create and publish the show. The link is in the show notes. Okay, back to the drones. After the initial sighting on November 18, 2024, reports were popping up through social media about people in other parts of the state reporting that large drones are flying right over their houses. They say they're very low, no more than a few hundred feet high at the most. Some eyewitnesses state that the drones are silent, while others say that they're loud. Some sound like propeller engine noises, and others sound like loud jets. This kept up every night until Thanksgiving. On November 28th, there were no reports of drones. Then on the 29th, the reports started coming in again. Having started in Morris County, sightings were now being reported from several counties in the northern part of the state. Every night, there were more and more reports of sightings. Reports of drones came from parts of New York City, then Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. By this time, the state police and the FBI began investigating what's going on. Around December 9th, the local TV stations began reporting about the drone sightings. A few days later, it became national news, and there were reports of drone sightings in California and a few other states. A week later, and now the drones were the #1 story at the start of most of the national morning news programs. I was really intrigued by what was happening. Being the avid amateur astronomer that I am, I'm outside observing and taking pictures every clear night. I'd be out with my binoculars, and I'd look at every light in the sky that I knew wasn't a star or a planet. I did this for multiple nights, for hours at a time, in the freezing cold. I saw a lot of things that matched many of the drone descriptions, but when I took a closer look through my 7x50 binoculars, 90% of what I saw were obviously planes. There were a few helicopters as well. The other 10% I looked at through 15x70 binoculars that are tripod mounted for a very steady view, and they all turned out to be planes just further away. On December 13th, I took a night off from setting up a scope, and instead, we decided to go drone hunting. We were seeing reports on the local Facebook group about an area near where I live that was getting a lot of reports about drones. There's an old Nike missile base that has been converted to an art park. It's at the highest point in town and has an excellent view to the west overlooking Morris County, which has been at the epicenter of the drone sightings. I had my binoculars, and I also had the Flight Radar 24 app on my phone to help identify if what we were seeing was a plane or a helicopter. For more than 2 hours we watched, and we saw lots of lights, several dozen in fact. There was one really odd one that kept going back and forth in a small area. The radar app let us know that it was a small plane circling near Morris Municipal Airport. In that entire time, we saw one helicopter, and everything else turned out to be a plane. After all of this, I still have yet to see anything that resembles a drone in the night sky. As the news of all this continued to spread, some people began panicking. The news was now interviewing governors, senators, and congressmen about it. This was suddenly a national mystery, all centered in my neck of the woods. To make matters worse, all kinds of conspiracy theories were being proposed. Every video and picture that I have seen posted looked like a plane would look in the night sky. There were videos of blobs of light that would flicker and shimmer. Those all turned out to be videos of out-of-focus stars, or, in a lot of the cases, the planet Venus. I saw one picture that was captured, a swarm of drones chasing another drone. That one turned out to be a picture that showed a plane and the open star cluster M45, commonly known as the Pleiades. If you don't spend time getting to know the sky, when you do begin starting to pay attention to it, you're going to notice things that you didn't notice before. Most people don't even bother to look up at planes flying overhead during the day, but at night, aircraft are well lit up. They want to be seen to be safe. Different aircraft all have different lighting configurations. They all look different. Now, I'm not an aviation expert, but I did study and fly for my private pilot's license many years ago. So I know a thing or two, more than many, about general aviation. I tried to gently let people know that what they were posting wasn't a drone. Most of the people were very understanding. Others would get defensive about their belief that their video or picture showed a drone, even though it was easy to tell that it wasn't. Some people claimed that they could tell how large an object was, how much it weighed, or how high it was simply by looking at it. I only stick to verifiable facts and evidence. That's the scientist in me. The teacher in me has always wanted me to help people understand the night sky, its beauty, and importance in understanding our place in the universe. So, what exactly is a drone? A drone, or an unmanned aerial vehicle, or UAV for short, is an aircraft that flies without a pilot on board. Drones can fly autonomously or be controlled remotely. Most modern drones are small and light enough that you could easily hold them, while some can be as large as a jet plane. They are manufactured in all different shapes and sizes. Some look like a spider with a propeller on each leg. Others look like a conventional plane or helicopter. Drones have many practical uses. They're used by the military, they're used in agriculture, mapping, emergency response, real estate, and a multitude of other fields. Some drones are used for entertainment and recreational purposes as well. They can be fun to fly. In the US, any drone that weighs more than 250 grams needs to be registered with the FAA, and the pilot needs to pass a test to get their drone pilot's license from the FAA. Currently, there are almost 900,000 registered drones in the US, and around 500,000 licensed drone pilots. But those pilots have to follow rules, or their operators can face fines or even jail time. At night, civilian drones are limited to an altitude of 400 feet above ground level. They must be lit with FAA regulation lighting and can only be operated within the line of sight of the pilot. Additionally, local restrictions can also apply. There are no-fly zones over military installations, as well as designated FAA no-fly zones. Some townships prohibit drones in public spaces like schools or public parks and buildings. At night, planes and drones have different lights. Some are lit solid while others flash or strobe. Their lights can be white, red, green, and sometimes other colors. There are many free apps that will show you where planes are, and you can get all kinds of information about them. If you think that you're seeing a drone, this is a must-have to make sure that what you're seeing isn't really just a plane. The biggest exception is that military planes won't show up on these apps, as they're not transmitting that data publicly, which makes sense, but they would be seen by radar, just not displayed on the public apps. I really like FlightAware and Flight Radar 24, which has a feature that lets you take a picture of a plane and it will tell you what kind of plane it is, its speed, altitude, destination, and other information. It's also easy to see the air traffic around you and traffic that's at a distance away from you, as you don't want to mistake a jet at 35,000 feet but far away and low on the horizon as a drone. If you're going drone hunting, I would also recommend that you bring binoculars with you. Finding a plane in a telescope is extremely difficult to do, so stick with binoculars. If you bring a friend, one can check one of the radar apps while the other takes pictures or video. Don't use a flash at night, it won't help. Using video with a high frame rate is the best way to capture clear images. Every frame might not be sharp, but some will be, so that will help in identifying what you're seeing. Keep notes of the time, the location, and what direction you were facing, and the direction of travel of the suspected drone. Note what you can regarding its size, shape, and distance from you. Let's say that you've seen something that does not appear to be a plane. You've confirmed with the radar app, visually verified with binoculars, and determined that it's not lit using general aviation lighting. You've captured clear footage of it on video, or if you're using a good camera with a fast lens, you might even be able to take a decent picture with a camera. Now, all this doesn't mean that what you're seeing is in fact a drone, but you're on the right path. Now, you need to notify the authorities about your sighting. Call the FBI. Their toll-free number is 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-225-5324. If you'd like, you can submit your sighting online at Tips.FBI.gov. You can even upload videos directly through the FBI's online portal. In New Jersey, if you want to know more about drones, I'd suggest that you visit the New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness on their website at NJOHSP. I'll leave a link to that in the show notes. Hopefully, one of you will actually catch a drone on video, report it, and help solve this mystery once and for all. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you found our time together to be fun and helpful. If you have questions or episode suggestions, please email us at astroguypodcast@gmail.com or leave us a text or a voicemail at 973-404-0380. Don't forget to join the Astro Guy Podcast group on Facebook, and of course visit our YouTube channel, the Astro Guy Podcast. Thank you again for joining us, and may your skies be clear. As always, Carpe Noctem, seize the night. I'm Wayne Zool, and this was the Astro Guy Podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, your questions, comments, and suggestions are welcome. Keep wondering. Keep your eyes on the sky. Have fun. Carpe Noctem. Seize the night.